Hey there, it's Boots Owen here. In part 1, I took this motor apart. It's a 3-phase Brook motor. 1.5 horsepower. Let's have a look. It's heavy, and that's just the middle. 1400 spin, 1400 RPM. 1.5 horse motor. There's some details on it there. Class E insulation. Whatever that means. Right, it's very heavy, and I need to put it back together. I've given it 2 coats of paint, so I gave it a clean up, took it all apart. And now it's time to put it back together. It needs another coat of grey, but I'm going to do that once it's all reassembled. So I'm going to begin by putting this mounting bracket back on. And I've got some screws for that. I've given everything a bit of a, well, not everything, I've given most things a spin on the wire wheel to clean them up. And what I didn't do was leave bolts in whenever I was taking it apart, so some of the bolts will be easier than others to get to return to their positions, but they'll all go in, it's just paint. So I'm not too fussed about that. And should be pretty straightforward, I'm hoping. If I could get a start on it. I've got paint all mushed around it now. It's had 2 days to dry. There we go, that's in. It's had 2 days to dry. So it's not dry at all, but it'll go back together, and then you see if I chip it or damage it at all, the paintwork, it's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world, I can just tighten it up. The other thing I'm going to do is put in angled grease nipples. I've done one already, but I thought it'd save the other one. I managed to find a box of grease nipples in my stores, and I showed, or I said anyways in the last video, that I couldn't get a grease gun onto it, so I'm going to have to put, I've found a tin called bearing grease, and I have no reason, I certainly didn't fill the tin. It's an old Car Sweets tin that's just sitting there to the right of the picture. I've no reason to doubt that there's some kind of special grease in it that'll do for bearings, and these are bearings, so I've filled a grease gun with that, and I'm going to see if that'll do it when I'm reassembling it. So the paint being soft, it'll probably glue itself to itself here. But what can you do? It gives me a flat surface to work on. Whoa, and now I've just rubbed all the dirt into the paint as well. That's great. Yeah, it comes off alright though. Okay, this is the cable end, so you can see my fingerprints and all in there, and there's a dribble of paint gone inside to the bearing hole. But I tested this angled greaser, and it works fine, so I'm happy with that. I'll put that set of cables back through here, and offer this up. And there was punch marks, and there they are, 2 on this side, so they're lining up, and that's good. And I'd like a hammer to hit that with, but it's obviously going to wreck the paint. The bolts will pull it back together, so I'm not too worried about that. Now, set that like that. Where's my armature? Here it is. So, haven't really done anything with this. I haven't gotten any of the grease out, but I'm hoping I can kind of force the new grease through. This one goes in here, I think. Because the other side, oh, does it? Or, yeah, it does, because this one has this retaining plate on the back of it. And I'm not sure, actually, how to line up that retaining plate with it removed, so I might have to take the end off it again. Let's just offer that up. And give it a wiggle. And then we'll give it a tap. Oh, not there yet. It is in. It's in position. Oh, that might be it actually. It might just have slid straight in. It didn't need to sit up any further, I think. So that's good. So let's see if I can get that pair of screws in now. Should be able to fish it around from this side. If I tilt this up, hopefully it won't all fall out. And put something under it. Maybe. Will that hold it? Feels okay. Let me get in there and try and figure out how to get that plate up. So with an Allen key, the handy thing is that the plate is on the shaft. But it doesn't want to move, so I need a second Allen key. Now I could have probably just done this in position first. Efficient word, there it is, right. Now rotate it around until I can see where the screws go, which is there. Hold it in position, don't lose that in there. Hold it in position and get these screws back in. With a washer. Easier said than done. Can't tell if I'm in or not. Yeah, it feels like it might be. Okay, so before I pull the other one up too tight, to find another washer and get that together. So I haven't got raggy washers, I've only got the flat ones. I don't know why no washer was on one of the screws. It's a bit strange. It is what it is. Let's put this one in. Yeah, it looks like we're in the right position anyways. Screwdriver's a bit loose in there. It's not going in at all. It's a bit beat up. Alright, it's good and tight. Yep. I believe we're as good as we're going to get there. So let's put on the other end. Hopefully it'll all work out. Grease nipple on that side, so this side should have 3 marking spots right here. Now, why are you not coming together? Shaft looks incorrect on the other side, and it is the... Oh, actually, maybe I can show you. I think it's on this end. If I can. Now that we're... There we go. Yeah, this side. So in there where the bearings received, there's a load of little pock marks. They're pop marks from a center chisel, along with my fingerprints in paint. So this bearing seat must have been a bit loose and tightened up at some point. Just interesting, I reckon. Probably put a bit of grease on this. I should have done it on the other end, but I didn't, obviously. So a little grease poo. Just smear that on. Can't hurt. In fact, what I'll do, instead of wasting the stuff I've charged into my gun, just do it like that with my little artist's dealie. Spatula or trowel. And then when it comes to push the remainder in, not sure what's different about this grease, but it's labelled as bearing grease, so hoping that's correct. Oh, I'll do this while I'm here. It seems to be easier at this end. Right, is that one going to fit? Nope. Oh dear. Well, it's gonna have to come apart again anyways. Right. So I can take it apart as it is. I forgot to put this plate in. Silly me. How am I gonna do it? Well, let's see if a screwdriver gets in here. No, of course not. This side. Yeah, there we go. Right. So we're back to where we were anyways. Let's take this apart. Get the cables out. I'm glad I hadn't tied them on. That's something. You see, this is how a job begins and ends, and while I'm taking this apart, I might as well put more grease in there too. Okay. Stand that like that. Get this like this. This is probably an air duct plate, so the air can only come through in one direction. Can't see that it matters other than to go in. It sits on that lip, doesn't go in any further, so that's it, you know, it won't go in any further. Right. Then, put you back up like this. Take this one over here. Take these two screws out again. You're bearing with me because you kind of think this is an interesting thing to watch, I guess. Or you're going to click on a link and just go somewhere else. Okay. Okay, that's that one off. Now what makes this come off? There we go, just slide. Oh, I lost my screws. Just slides out, so a bit more grease. So this grease could easily be 30 years old if it isn't 50 years old. Whatever about the grease that's already in there. I've said I don't think this machine's ever going to get much use. Doesn't mean I shouldn't do it the right way, but as I explained in the previous video, there's a point of economy, you know, that the machine is worth a certain amount. I could afford to go out and buy a more expensive lathe, but I won't, because I don't really have any work for it, and it's just a notion of a hobby, of a whatever. Let's put a little bit in there, if I can. I don't really think I need to. The bearing will the bearing will push this in whenever it goes in. Okay, it's ready. Plates in. So I didn't take off this bearing on the back plate, so I don't really know what the condition is in there, but I presume it's just got old schmoo grease in behind it, and that's just the way it is. So I'm going to put it back together this way this time, because I think I can tighten up this plate a bit easier this way without doing the old Allen key trick. I was reading a book, Electric Motors, by a guy called Cox, a little workshop, special interest model books, I think is what they're called, little workshop book. Oh no, I've done it wrong again. Because of the plate now, I can't do it that way. I've got to take it apart again. Third time's a charm. And they were saying that if you can be bothered, if you want to turn this into a single phase, because of the way it's wired and it's only got 3 wires coming out, to make it run on single phase is quite complex. But you can. Right, so I can't do it that way. I'll take this out again. There we go. Put this through from the other side without cocking up the wires. And you can go in and fish around in there where those wires are. inside, and you can rewire it for single phase. But it's a bit of a labour. I won't say a labour of love. You have to want to do it because you got to get into soldering in there, and you've got to get all that kind of thing doing. Right. Get my cables in. 3 cables are in. Pop marks up on top. Right, now do my Allen key trick again. Just fall right down, so it does. That's it. Hope that's it. I think that's it. Another screw, and you can see it's messing up. Oh, it's not right. It's not right yet. It's messing up my paint job there. Is it right? It's not far off it. It's caught on something. Oh, there we go. It's falling down again. It wasn't on right on the other side either. There now. Is that it? You going in? Made it look so easy the first time, eh? Get out of there. Right. There we go. We're in. Again. So I'm not going to do the wiring on this yet. I'm going to leave that as it is. I'm going to get it back around to doing the grease cup, grease nipple on this side here. So with an appropriately sized pliers, just have to get the old one out. Doesn't want to come. Bigger pliers, might need a spanner. There it is. It's moving now. A socket would be the right way of doing this, of course, but don't know why I can't get a purchase on it with my finger. Really don't. I think this socket might grip it. Yeah, there, it's gripping it enough to get it out. Okay, so I found in my box of tricks an angled one with the same thread. And to get it in, I have to take it apart. To take it apart, I've got to grip it. Get the tool on it. Loosen off the nipple. Put the housing in here. Try and get some dexterity on it. If I can. Really struggling here. It's almost like it's too big, but I'm pretty sure it's right. Yeah, it appears to be right, but it just looks like the looks like there's enough space in the casting to get it in. A little bit of paint in there. There, that might be it. So this isn't something you have to do, this is something that I'm doing because of the grease guns that I have. The other one just went in nice and easy. This one's causing a fuss. It's not cross-threaded or anything. It's getting quite stiff there, so I'm going to bring it round so that that's at the front. I'm surprised it hasn't gone down to seat, but it doesn't matter to me. Now, where's the outer? It's in the tool. These are different threads as well, so you can't put the old one in at an angle. I'm sure you can get different types of these things, but with this one, tighten that up, and that's ready to pump. So let's just give that a test. So looking in there, don't know if we can. I'll just do it from the side and pump it and see. Has it flushed out? Not yet. Doesn't bode well. No. How's this grease gun looking then? Yeah, it's pretty full. This is the kind of stuff you spend. Yeah, so it's coming out like this little poo there when I squeeze it. So just wipe that in there for now because it's got to go in there eventually. So why is it not coming through? Well, I can try it with a different grease on a different grease gun. It might have a bit more force behind it. It's just regular old lithium grease, but yeah, that's coming through like a little poo now. There you go. So maybe it was just a blockage. It's made a mess on that end too. Maybe it was just a blockage in there or something. Let's hook that out. And wipe that somewhere away. It's made a right old mess, hey? Now the paint won't stick to itself because it's all covered in grease. Right, yikes. Now try this one again because that's what I want to see working. No, it's not there yet. Yeah, it's definitely pushing it in through now, but it's fairly slow. Because it's fairly slow, I think I'm going to pack this pretty well as well with bearing grease. So I'll just put it on like that. Let the bearing do the pushing, I think. So as the bearing goes in, it can squeeze it into position. I don't mind having an excess of grease in there. Motors don't care. The wiring might care a bit, but whatever. Right. What other parts am I missing now? Hopefully none. It's a slow old video, this. Three dots on the top. The top should be this way. There we go. It's coming together okay, I think. Where's my hammer gone? Three dots on the top. Hoping the other end doesn't pop out. Here are these shafts, and I need to find another washer because there was only 3 spring washers on it last time. Find one of those. So on these shafts, there's one side that's threaded about 1/4 inch and the other side's threaded about 1/2 inch. So the 1/4 inch sides, I'm going to bring the nuts on so that they're already there. Different nuts on these as well on some sides. Put the nut on the 1/4 inch side, because that's the side you won't have any adjustment from. And what I'm going to do is put a wipe of grease down the body of the shaft as well, so I can use that rag that had the little dirty grease on it, because it doesn't matter, it's just as a rust preservative. Too much, I suppose. And I'm guessing I'm going to put the washers on the other end. I'll take that one off. Like that. I don't know which end I want to have those on. Don't know that it matters. I think it makes sense if they're all on the same end. Now, this is where I've cocked up again. Right, so that flat plate inside needs to line up with these holes. And of course, right now, it doesn't. So I wonder, can I twist it using 2 of them? I can just see it through here. I don't think so. I think I've got to pull it off again. Right. This is learning. Now, cables are in here. So how do I want to do it? I could twist that, but then the dots won't line up. I think that's probably just the same. There's probably something to do with field windings in there as well, is there? So I need to bring it around so that screws go up to there. Right, let's lift this out as far as we can. I can't get it out because of the vaned washers. Pull this out again. Come on. Right, there we go. Hook that thing on there. Now, where did I put my marks? like that here. So hopefully that should go in now and be correct. And then this end is popped off again, of course it has. So I'll line it up, press it on, bring this through, get these cables back in. So whenever you see a 10-minute video on YouTube, you know that they've left out this bit. My 3 cables are coming through. What am I stuck on? This end is in. It's just the bearing on the other end, I think. There we go. So let's wiggle this through. Oh, look at that. So that's coming in correctly. There we go. So that's all right. Let's get a washer and a nut on there before anything changes. Not sure if I can get the other sides come off now, you see. So just want to hold it together while I give it a tap. So on the back here, I'm just putting a nut on. Hammer. Okay, and this end is falling off again for some reason. So it's so that's obviously wrecking the paint, but we are where we are. See about getting the rest of these screws in. One, 2, and 3 more. So there's a few things there learned about getting the plate lined up and stuff like that. I'll get a washer and a nut on these ones before I spin it around. Hopefully cinching it up will be a cinch. Take this one off because it's got no washer on it. I can well believe that this is what happened the last time to whoever was doing it. And one more. It's very near to it, just needs a little nudge. Or a little tap, one or the other. There we go. Scraping the paint off as I do. One more nut, one more washer. So while it's on its side, let's get a that's pulling the whole case back together there. Let's flip it up. that one. I'm just using my fingers on the back. It's not really adequate for tightening it up, but it gets a start made on it. I'm gonna have to give this a wipe down with alcohol again before I paint it again, because it's fairly killed the paint job. Get a spanner on it. Tighten these up. I'm hoping I'm in correctly this time. You can tell I haven't really thought it through what I'm doing. So I'm hoping I'm just right at this point. I'm ready to go. The ring spanner fits on there easy enough. And the socket, I could have 2 sockets. My gloves are filthy, and that's imparted a beautiful, filthy, greasy snot onto the thing. And this one. What would be really cool on this is to have a grease point on the front of the machine. Why is that one squeezing up so much? Feels a bit weird. To have a grease point on the front of the machine that would just have a pipe full of grease. I think they're tightened enough. Now, I'll interrogate my photograph for which cable goes where. But let's just see if anything happens here if I push some grease in now. I'd like to see a deluge of grease coming out of somewhere, but I don't know if I'll see that. This little pump, see, that's it. It's pumped out, it's enough, so I need to put more in. Doesn't really take very much, you see. It's a bit of a tedious thing. Then you put it back on, screw it up again. This is a Tecalmet greaser. Same thing again. If it really is this much to pop grease into it, I think I need to invest in something better. Yeah, that's gone down again, so a little bit more grease. Put it into the lid this time. See it creaming out anywhere, but you see that time it's still full, so let's try getting another little squeeze in, because it may not be full the whole way down the body. That's the other thing. Don't know. All right, try the other side a bit. See how it looks. Yeah, you see that time it's gone down again. So at the level I plan on using this machine, I suspect that any grease is enough grease. And feel free to disagree in the comments. That's some people love to have the right of everything in it. I think I'm never going to wear this machine out from overuse. It's highly unlikely for that to happen. What I'd really like to see is grease coming out around here, but I don't. And what I could do as well is pour some of the other grease in to see if that's going anywhere. See, it's still full here, so it's always just possible for me to know, really. Yeah, I just don't know. Well, that'll have to do it. So just to finish it up there, it's upside down, but red is at number A, or letter A. I don't know if we can see where the letters are. In there, red's A, red's A, yellow's B, and blue is C. I've got it wired up. I pumped the grease in with the other gun here in the end, and I saw it coming out here. Pumped in with the other gun, didn't see it coming out here, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But I've got it set to 21. Set it for forward and press run, and it works fine now that it's all back together, except that I've got the wires the wrong way around, so I need to swap 2 wires. I could just keep running it in reverse, but you see there, if you press that forward reverse button, it stops and goes the other way. Good little unit, these inverters. They're cheap as can be, 30 quid or 40 quid, something like that. And I think you can run them with inputs from a pickup so that you can put in the speed directly. It might be SP1 and COM. So that the output here is not the frequency coming out, it's the speed wherever you want it on the lathe, like at the headstock. For now, that'll do. So I've put it all back together. I'm having to speak quite loud. A gentle breeze blowing from the side. It's on just under 50 Hertz. It's been on for about 2 hours. I'm just doing this bench test for about 2 hours now. The top of it's perfectly cool, but it's under no load, and it's performing just fine. So I wonder what it's like under load conditions, but I'm happy enough with that so far. I'll let the paint dry another day, maybe, and put it back together, because at the moment the paint is still quite soft. Cool. Questions or comments, leave them below. Thanks for watching. See you later. So, I put it all back together, bench tested it for over an hour, no load. Was tidying up, and I remembered this little thingy. I had to go and watch the video of taking it apart again. It goes in this end. It's the cable end, which makes it easier because I don't have to take this off again. But on the other hand, I have to get in here. Yeah, there's nothing for it really. And I've done a nice job of the paint, I think, but well, those numbers are done. Let's always give it another coat of paint, I guess. God, it really chews up because the paint's kind of damp. You know, it's only been on. It's only been painted a day, so the paint's a bit damp. So let's see what we can do. It's the end that doesn't have the shield on it. It's the end. This is going to be a complete snotty mess now because there's still damp paint in there. So everything I touch is going to turn to. Yep. All right. Get that out. Come on out. See, it's all got wet paint. Not wet, but you know, not dry on the end of it. It's not going to fall out because it's all covered in paint. Inside of my sockets then, subsequently, will also be covered in paint. I would have preferred in some ways if it would have been the other end, because I would have liked to have seen the grease on this end. I could see the grease coming out the other end when I was dealing with it. Why are you stuck? Come on out. 1 rod. 2 rods. These are all greasy, which wrecks the paint as well. 3 rods. 4. Keeping the washers separate. I wonder if I can slide it in without doing the cables, but I am going to have to unscrew this little thing on the end. And try and get it back in again, of course. That'll be the fun bit. I'll try and leave those washers. There's washers on those screws. I'll try just, oh, that washer's come out, bizarrely. Now, can I smash into it with a screwdriver and hope the end pops off? Ah, there's the paintwork gone. Oh, we're in. That's good. Easier than the first time. Alright, now I'm going to hold it because there's cables there. Try and ease it out little by little. And it's coming out. Yeah, there we go. So cables are on here. They're stuck on something. Oh, they're stuck under it. Oh, and that's the camera about to fall over. Okay. So is it going to wiggle off? Yes, it is. Oh, beautiful, actually. That's easy and peasy. There's the spring. That's where the washer goes. No, it's not. No, it doesn't want to go in there, so it's not that end. It's not that end. Why did I think it was that end? I don't know. Well, it's not that end, so stop crying about it. Let's push that back on. See if we can get these screws back in without... No, can't. Without cocking it all up. Nope, not going to happen. Right. Is that it? Have I got it aligned and screwed? Maybe. Maybe. Let's see if we can get the other one in. I've put the one with 2 washers on the one side. That's pulling it together again. So I'll take this one out. Quite see how this is going to work out because I think I'm pushing it back now. Oh, that was silly. I should have just taken the washer off it, hey? Yep, I should have, but I didn't. Right, should have, but didn't it? There we go. Well, at least this way I get to have a look at the grease on the other end. Oh dear. Tighten that back up. So I've got to pull off the shaft, the pulley. Get the pulley back off again. Then I've got to just tap it free, I guess. I'm hoping. I haven't lined those bad boys up properly. Doo-doo. Let's cry about it when we get to the end. Come on. Was it a 3mm? Of course it won't. Okay, so interesting to know then that there's a bigger bearing on this end. Makes sense, it's the driving or the forcing end or whatever you want to call it. I tried to get grease in there and it was a bit of a big snot. It's good to know that there was loads of grease in there. Way too much. Lessons learned, hey? Right, so I think actually I didn't need to take the back off it at all. So like I'm just basically a bit of a moron in this instance, and everything's covered in grease, and I need to find my tappy tap tap marks. There should be 3 marks. There they are. There. I have to line them up, slide this in, line up those marks on top as best I can, and then bring the bearing in, the shaft into the bearing from the other end. We should be back in action. There we go, we're getting there now. Right, that's back together. So now I've got to get this end here back on. And this is the fun one. So I've got to get this shaft back through. I don't want to hammer it, so I'm going to have to tap it with something on the end. I'm trying to prop up the thing without wrecking those cables, because they're old and fragile. Looking, are we there yet? I could have disconnected the wires, obviously. What do I think? Is that going to be enough? There's a load of snotty grease gone around the back here as well, actually. And me taking it off with a gloved finger, it means that it's only going to make a huge snotty mess later on. Wipe a bit in there. Got a sock here to cleanse myself, because you know when you put in a bearing the grease has to go somewhere, and right, another sock, another wipe. Kind of hoping these will just go together now. Get the 2 marks on top aligned. It's not a million miles away, you know. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Okay. Let's get 2 bars diagonally across in there. And then hopefully, if it all goes to plan, come on. There we go, there's one. It's made a knackering job of my paint. And the grease on the fingers don't help either. So just gets on. Oh, I've just made a bigger mess. Lovely. Grease everywhere. Grease just gets on the paint and it doesn't like it. Try and work clean. Right, there's one shaft in. You get the other one, not shaft, but screw. There's another one. With a nut on it, and or a washer on it even. And now, can't see it. The washer and a nut. This will stop it coming apart, it'll stop it rotating. Remind me maybe of what I'm doing. Pulls it all together. I've got to try and get that cap on from the inside on the other end. If you know what I mean. So, see if we can fight gravity here. Looks good. That's not the one I wanted. There it is. That feels lovely. Feels like we're getting somewhere. Now, there's the other screw. So I had way too much grease on them. Yeah, they're going in. You learn. Maybe I will, maybe I won't learn. So, now I put the other two shafts in. They're not shafts, they're screws. They're threaded rods. If they're anything. Tip this back. It's pulling the paint off it as I do it. I can feel the wet paint on my fingers through the gloves. Okay, there we go. This one. Because all I wanted to do is put the cover plate on the cover plate over the cables. So then let's tie this together. I've got a spanner on one end. Why has that happened? Right. Tight. So I did a 2-hour test, or at least an hour, maybe 2 hours. Didn't even get warm. The bearings didn't get warm, nothing got warm. Granted, no load, but you know, couldn't have been much better really, as far as I was concerned. Okay, trying to do these diagonally, but I'm not sure it really matters. It's not like we're torquing down cylinder heads or nothing. Pretty sure there's loads of grease in there. I might never need to grease them again. Right, shaft, woodruff key, and this little fella. take a piece of wood in the end. Tap that key in. That's on. Tighten this fella up again. Not that it's ever likely to slip off sideways, but it's just to give it a location, I guess. And then the bit I wanted to do to finish it off at long last. Come back up there. Right. This bit. Take off my gloves for this bit, hey? It's still sticky and painty. Oh, it's all sticky. So there's this little sticker on the inside. I'll leave it there. Put that on. Is it gonna go? Yep. Leave fingerprints all over it because the paint's still damp. I'm sick of you, motor. Where will I give it another coat of paint? And there's little tiny nuts. Like something BA probably. Whoa, come back. I pretty much skinned the paint all over it now. Alright, let's do it with the pliers. Now, it's the end back on. Plug it in one more time, just see if it works. Now that I've been through it again and again and again and again and again. Okay, we're on. Variac's on, not Variac. Inverter's on. Press run. Happy days. Questions or comments, leave them below. Thanks for watching. See you later.